Last night, you live an entire life. You flew through a city that didn't exist. You talked to a person you've never met. You felt emotions so real they woke you up. But right now, 5 minutes after opening your eyes, it's already gone. You can't remember a single detail. This happens to you almost every single night, and you have no idea why. Your brain produces vivid, detailed, emotionally rich hallucinations for 6 to 8 hours every night. That's roughly 2 hours of pure cinematic experience per night, which means by the time you reach 70, you will have spent roughly 10 years of your life dreaming. 10 years of stories, images, and feelings that vanish completely. The moment you become conscious, the memory dissolves. And neuroscience has a deeply strange explanation for why. When you fall asleep, your brain doesn't shut down. It shifts. Your neocortex, the part of your brain responsible for logical thinking and memory formation, essentially goes offline. At the same time, your limbic system and brainstem activate wildly. These are ancient, emotion-driven areas that produce surreal imagery and intense feelings. Your brain is essentially running a different operating system. You're conscious, but you're not you. During REM sleep, specifically, your brain chemistry changes in one critical way. Norepinephrine stops flowing. Norepinephrine is a neurotransmitter essential for memory formation, attention, and connecting events together into a coherent narrative. Without it, your brain can't tag the dream experience with "remember this." It's like your brain is recording video, but not saving the file to disk. The experience happens in real time, but there's no permanent copy. William Dement, the researcher who discovered REM sleep in 1953, noticed something puzzling. Participants woken during REM sleep could recall their dreams vividly. But if they woke naturally after REM sleep ended, the dream was already fading. If they waited even 5 minutes, it was gone. The difference wasn't the dream itself. It was a neurochemical state during waking. If you wake during REM sleep, while norepinephrine is still low, your brain hasn't fully shifted back to waking mode. The dream memory has a brief window to transfer before the neurochemical conditions change. But there's more. Even if a dream memory starts to transfer, it competes for attention against an enormous wave of new sensory information. The moment you wake up, your eyes open. Light floods in. You hear sounds. You feel the temperature of your bed. Your brain suddenly receives 1,000 times more information than it did during the dream. Your attention snaps outward. The fragile dream memory gets overwritten almost instantly, like trying to hold a phone conversation while someone's yelling in your ear. Some dreams, though, you do remember. You remember nightmares. You remember dreams that connect to strong emotions or real-world concerns. Why? Because emotional intensity activates the amygdala more powerfully than abstract imagery alone. A dream where you're falling triggers genuine fear. Fear is a survival mechanism. Your brain tags it as important. Norepinephrine levels rise slightly. The memory sticks. But a dream where you're walking through a normal room and talking to a stranger, your emotional arousal stays low. There's nothing for your brain to flag as critical. The dream dissolves. This is why you might remember fragments. A single image, a feeling, a sensation of falling. But you can't remember the context or the full sequence. You captured the emotional peak the moment your amygdala fired but lost everything around it. It's like remembering the chorus of a song but forgetting the verses. The emotional moment burned bright enough to stick around, but not long enough to form a complete memory. Robert Stickgold, a neuroscientist at Harvard Medical School, has spent decades studying how the brain consolidates dreams into memory. He found that if you write down a dream immediately upon waking, you can capture it. The act of encoding it into language somehow forces your brain to hold it a bit longer to process it through the parts of your brain that handle narrative and meaning. But if you don't write it down in those first 30 seconds, it's gone. You'll forget you even had the dream. This also explains why you might remember a dream later in the day, hours after waking. Something you encounter triggers a neural pattern that was activated during the dream. A song, a smell, a conversation. Your brain recognizes the pattern and briefly reactivates the dream memory. You suddenly think, oh yes, I did dream about that. But you're not actually remembering the dream itself. You're remembering a memory that was half-formed, then getting jolted back into semi-awareness. It's a ghost of a memory, not a real one. There's an evolutionary angle too. Your ancestors didn't need to remember their dreams. Dreams served a function in sleep, helping your brain process emotions and threats, consolidating learning, and keeping your mind active during unconscious time. But you didn't need to carry those experiences into waking consciousness. You needed to wake up attentive and ready. Remembering vivid hallucinations from the night would actually be a liability. It would clutter your working memory. It might make you question reality. Natural selection favored brains that produced rich dreams but forgot them quickly upon waking. Some animals don't even seem to dream, or they dream very little. Others, like dolphins, have adapted so their brain hemispheres can sleep one side at a time, keeping one side conscious to watch for predators. They probably don't deep dream at all. Humans, living in safer environments for much of our evolutionary history, could afford longer, deeper sleep. We could afford vivid REM sleep, but we still carried the ancient waking requirement, attention outward, past forgotten. The cruel irony is that your dreaming brain is doing something important. It's processing emotions. It's consolidating memories by replaying and reorganizing them. It's problem-solving in ways your conscious mind can't. During REM sleep, your brain temporarily disables the logical prefrontal cortex and activates regions that handle creative association and emotional processing. Some of humanity's greatest insights have reportedly come from dreams. But the insight itself, the content, the images, the story is designed to be forgotten. Lucid dreamers, people who become aware they're dreaming and can control their dreams, have actually changed this equation. Brain imaging shows that when you become lucid, the prefrontal cortex reactivates slightly. You're pulling your waking self back online while still in the dream. This changes the neurochemistry just enough that the memory sticks better. Lucid dreams are easier to remember because you're conscious enough to actually be paying attention to the experience, the way you pay attention when you're awake. So tonight, when you close your eyes and your brain shifts into dream mode, it will weave a story for you. You'll laugh or scream or feel wonder. Your mind will be fully engaged in an alternate reality. And when you wake up, none of it will be there. You might feel the emotional residue, a vague sense that something happened, but the actual experience will evaporate. Your brain will have spent 2 hours creating something elaborate and real and beautiful that your conscious mind will never know about. And that's not a flaw. It's exactly how your brain was designed. You forget your dreams because remembering them would cost you more than forgetting them is worth. Your ancestors didn't need to know what they dreamed about. They needed to wake up and survive. 10,000 years later, even though the survival pressure is gone, your brain is still built the same way. Last night, you lived an entire life. You don't remember it, and that's by design.